What's up, guys? It's Dan here. I'm bringing you some great information today on tracking devices for your drone. Now, do you need a tracking device for your drone? It kind of depends. How willing are you to lose it? How much money do you want to put behind tracking it? If your drone's only worth $50, $60, $70, it's not worth pouring a bunch of money into tracking where it goes. However, on the other hand, drones can get very expensive, especially in payloads themselves. If you've got a spectral camera doing agriculture or a thermal camera doing a thermal analysis, you get higher up just from the commercial applications, it can get very expensive. Now you're tracking thousands of dollars rather than just tens of dollars or even $100. So there's 3 different types of trackers, and each one will work better in different areas and will have different price points. So the first type that we're going to talk about is Bluetooth tracking, and then the second type we're going to talk about is RFID tracking, and the third is tracking with GPS. Now, I know a lot of these drones come with fail-safes, such as return to home. And if you have a DJI drone, you're probably very familiar with this, flying out of range of your frequency of your controller, and all of a sudden it says beep, 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 return to home. And it automatically goes and starts coming back towards your location where you took off from. It's great. I've had it happen multiple times. I've flown out of range of the controller and all of a sudden it automatically returned to home. However, there are sometimes glitches in this, and people have had where the drone maybe started up and only had loaded its last return to home sequence. So instead of returning home to where you were, it thought, oh, I'm going to go to the GPS coordinates where I took off last time, and it'll just take off. That's where tracking devices really come in handy. When your return to home functions fail, your fail-safes fail, it's a redundancy so that you can track your investment and not lose it. Alright, so first up, Bluetooth trackers. These have the shortest range. These are also the cheapest trackers. You're looking anywhere from 100 to 400 feet of tracking at the most. You should be familiar with Bluetooth technology. You use your phone in your car, maybe your earbuds are Bluetooth. The Bluetooth tech that I'm going to talk about is one you may have even heard of before. It's very popular for tracking your wallet and your keys and things like that. It's called Tile. There's multiple different types of tiles you can get. We can take a look at their website here and see. So this is the main one that I would suggest, the Tile Pro. It has the 400-foot range, and you can get one for $35. It also has a replaceable battery, and it's not that heavy. I believe it's only a few grams. The interesting thing about the Tile, though, is there's a neat feature for crowdsourcing. So what does that mean? So say your drone flies away with a tile on it, and you're 800 feet away, you're not in range, but it goes down in a neighborhood community. You're in an area where there's lots of people, and someone else with a Tile app on their phone walks within 400 feet of the drone. It will ping you the location of the drone because it'll be picked up on that other person's phone. This always kind of interested me a bit, but it's very private, and the person who walked by and had it happen, they have no idea that the software did something like that. And let's take a quick look at this story because it's very interesting. It's on Tile's website on their blog. Drone Tracker. Tile's Bluetooth tracking locator helps you find your drone. If you look up drone tracking Tile, I'm sure this is one of the first results. Now, he talks about tracking he said setup costs over $1,000. He had a Blade 350 QX2. But he had some fairly expensive camera equipment. Like I mentioned, the payload a lot of times is the more expensive part sometimes. So here's his story. It's kind of interesting. I'll just read out. It's one paragraph. So, pretty lucky for him too. The day he installs this Tile into his quadcopter, he says, I was out in an open space behind my house here in Boulder, Colorado, when suddenly I lost control of my drone. It took off and had apparently lost its GPS signal due to what I'd later discovered, a solar flare hitting the upper atmosphere. So apparently it could be anything that makes you lose signal, even a solar flare in the atmosphere. Whew. Anyways, my precious equipment just flew away like it had a mind of its own. No! I immediately pulled up my iPhone to mark my current location. I then drew a line on the map in the direction I last saw the UAV before I lost sight of it. That's pretty clever. That's not a bad idea. You can always go back into your DJI maps, if you have a DJI, that is. This is not a DJI drone. And look at the black box or the info of where the last signal was at. From the looks of it, I think it likely crashed about a mile away, which normally would make it very difficult to find. Right when I was starting to lose hope, I had an epiphany. I had just installed a new tile inside my drone. This will be the perfect opportunity to test out this great new product, if it works the way it says it was supposed to. So I began running in the direction I last saw my UAV before I lost it. And then as he goes on about, my heart sank, there's lots of houses and different people's blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly he launched the tile app and he was given an instant physical address. So this is very likely something where someone else had a tile app in that community and it shot him the address from their phone. He finds the property, he knocks on the door, asks the lady there if it shows her the app. She thinks it's really cool and could find using it for her dog. And she lets him go into her backyard and he finds the drone. Pretty neat story, eh? So anyway, here's the Tile Pro. You can get this on Amazon too, and there's other options. The Tile Slim, different tile. Tile Pro has the 400-foot range, is the newest one. That also has a replaceable battery. I would suggest it. Alright, so that is Bluetooth trackers for the most part. I only went over one Bluetooth tracker, but there's a couple other cheaper ones. Really, tile's what you want to go with if you're going to do Bluetooth. And like I said, it's fairly inexpensive, so if you have a drone that's even $100 or $200, it may be worth it to put a tile on it. RFID trackers, radio frequency identification, is a great type of tracker. And the best part